Welcome in. Welcome in. I know it's not Christmas yet, but I had to get some ginger tea tonight. So I figured, why not? Why not do it? Some tea to soothe the throat. No Diddy. Speak about Diddy. We had some very disturbing allegations come out today. I know I'm about a day off from the video, and I wanted to bring it to the channel so we could discuss it here and see. Hopefully, I could get some input from you guys, but it's some very disturbing stuff. Texas attorney filed this case. Tony Buzbee, 121 new allegations. This is one of those situations where we all look back and we said, we knew something was up, but we didn't know it was on this level. This is horrible. So I'm gonna wait for a couple more people to get in here. But I may have a few people come through, drop by. This video is about, half hour. We probably won't watch the whole thing, but we're gonna watch most of it. These are some pretty disturbing allegations, and it just got so much worse, sir. I know worser is not a word, but it got worse for Diddy. We could say, let me set these channels up. We could say that Diddy ain't seen the light of day for a long time. Long time, my friend. So let's get into it. Got a couple of people coming in now and then, but we gonna thug it out. Where we at? Boop boop. Oh smack! Where's my video? I don't see it. There you go. So yeah, we're gonna get into this. So how y'all doing today? I want y'all to leave y'all comments down there. Let me know how y'all feel about this. I'm here. Okay, there it is. Okay, there it is. Copy link. I'm not sure why it did that. So okay, we're gonna get into this video. Let's get into this video.
License in Texas and in New York. And I'll introduce other members of our team as they speak. As many of you know, our law firm has been at the forefront of some of the most important litigation in the United States. We like the tough cases. We thrive in the complicated cases. We've handled over the last 25 years some very big and very important cases. I believe that this one may surpass them all. There are many facets to this. The conduct we will describe today occurred over more than 20 years. There are many people and many entities involved. And we're going to follow this evidence wherever it takes us. We will find the silent accomplices. We will expose the enablers who enabled this conduct behind closed doors.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in.
We will pursue this matter no matter who the evidence implicates.
I like
These
that.
brave
I like
victims who have stepped forward deserve nothing less. The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us, with people claiming
almost 3,000 people came. This is crazy. There's no way out of this, Diddy. There's no way out.
People claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI.
That's what's
Now,
up.
before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and had screened a handful of cases. After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty. You'll be shocked at the length fans
this video sucks.
will go, no matter the evidence, to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love. I mean, there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics.
Sorry about the video, guys.
I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo. But victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct. They should not be targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with a mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward. So if you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone. There is a great strength in numbers. You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help you. That being said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we receive. We have had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues, we check dates. We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit. We have on staff.
I like the fact that he's explaining a lot of this stuff because a lot of people had questions. And the fact that they're going to make sure and do their due diligence to make sure that they're not just bringing anybody up in there that said they had something to do with it, but they said almost 3,000 people called them, and they pretty much got 100 and what are we at, 120 that they can actually say this happened. But this case is blown wide open. No Diddy. Yes, Diddy for sure. Man, it's not even something to laugh about how sick these allegations
Staff now,
are.
a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each claim. We're using our common sense. We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough. The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times, it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public. The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what
Keyboard
we're up
warriors.
against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive, but it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females who
Wow.
have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group,
That is so sick in so many different ways. Like, to think about it, we all thought he was just after women. You know, they gave Little Rod crap when he came out. Now you find out he is a predator. He doesn't care age. He don't care gender. And I've heard some stuff about animals too, but that's for another video.
62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. And I want to focus on of these victims. When we talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old.
Man.
We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of.
That is insane. 25 of the 120 so far was minors. A 9-year-old, a 14-year-old. This guy is a predator.
The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct.
Damn.
Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward, I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York, as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought, that it revives such claims and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later. Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that
That's
it's
good. They
very
changed that law.
for a victim to come forward.
Call
And
it
I
the
would
Diddy law.
respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward. And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one.
That's
And
good.
I expect more victims will come forward. You know, there's an old saying that says, a lie has great
Real.
speed, but truth has endurance. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they called a puppy party, all-white party, although several of these events occurred at auditions.
Yo, this is so sick. He diddled anywhere. He didn't care where he was. He was getting it done. Like, this is insane.
Many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct. in the promise of being made a star, or in the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape, or even let them read for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals.
That is insane. Think about that. 50% of these people all made a police report. They went to the hospital and nothing happened. So people who think Diddy didn't have a lot of protection out here, yeah, I need to think again, because this has been happening since 1991. So somebody was protecting him. Somebody was definitely protecting him. This is insane.
We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities. And I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs.
Wow.
Drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or trank, which based on our research is known as a horse tranquilizer.
I think that's ketamine.
Now,
don't ask me why I know that.
We're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class actions when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case. Each case may be filed in one venue like California. Another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people. I would expect most, though, to be filed, as I said, in New York and Los Angeles. Now, I know this. Many of you came here thinking or hoping, or perhaps believing.
I want to say something else. Parents, when you take your kids to audition, do not leave them alone. I used to do modeling back in the day, but I was older. Nothing ever happened to me. But if you're taking your kids to these agencies, don't have trust and faith in these people and think that your kid's good. This is what's happening. This is what's happening. And don't think that a quick contract or a quick buck is going to be okay, because later on, that's Justin Bieber. He can't even deal with his common sense. He's still, traumatized.
That I may start naming names. Well, that day will come, but it won't be today.
Damn it.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs. And
they're going to come. Can't wait.
It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are. But because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that.
Got my mom in the chat.
That we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are.
You ready to come on?
I call them the facilitators of foul play, willing participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. It
seems like they're going after everybody. Hey, yeah. What's up, Mr. 12? Welcome in.
What's up?
We are here in the middle of this Diddy saga. It's like every day there's something new coming out about this. But right now
Yes.
we're checking out the 120 new allegations.
Man. I see Auntie. Auntie pop up on the screen. Hi, Auntie. How you doing?
Yeah. She in the chat. She in the
Yeah.
chat.
Oh God, you can't give women names, Auntie.
That's what happened. That's what happened when you invite the family.
Yeah. But
I could,
yeah,
let me see this.
I was following along on the way over. I was
Okay.
I was in class watching you.
Yeah, I mean, it's every time you look at this and you hear the allegations and you hear it said out loud, it just gets more and more disturbing
Yeah,
every day.
definitely.
Like,
Definitely.
yeah, she said she doing good.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
She getting ready to travel.
Nice, nice, nice.
Hey, put the link down there.
Which one?
Share,
The
share the link for the
invite, I guess.
yep, and drop it down in the if anybody want to come on and share their thoughts, hit the link down in the chat.
It showed up, right?
Yeah, don't forget hit the like button and share. So yeah, let's continue because this is a
These defendants will not only include individuals,
long
but
video.
would also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically,
That's a pretty good idea, to go after these companies because they realize Diddy can't take all that,
True. I
So
push back on it a little bit.
what do you mean?
It's been happening for 20 years. Most of the people that were, let's say, prior to Diddy or the same time with Diddy are no longer there, or
Well, I'm sure. Yeah.
you get what I'm
I could
trying to
say
say?
that. Yeah, but
Because
there's
it's
the
like I could
people,
have had a business where my father ran a business and whatever he did, I don't know about. So I'm
right? But
carrying
he
on business.
created that business himself, so he built it from the ground up. So
Right, but I'm
whatever's
talking
in
about
there
like a
is
hotel. Like a hotel.
okay.
I take over from my father, right?
Okay. I see what you're saying. I see what you're
His
saying.
reign is gone. He
Right,
did
right.
what he did.
So is your
New
father?
management.
Sorry, but is your father Epstein
Well, let's say.
or Cosby?
I'm gonna say Cosby. I don't know about Epstein.
I'm just saying you gotta be specific. If your father's straight clean, then yeah. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, because it's a hard. I understand, and I
So
always try to play
is it the reason why all these CEOs are stepping down and handing it to them kids?
true. Yeah, because it's what they're doing is change your guard.
Yep.
You
They're
you
cleaning out the
won't.
closet.
Exactly, because once you change the guard, you could always just say that was old management. And that's what presidents do it, Congress do it, Senates do it. They just replaced the person and just said, "Oh, we got rid of everyone." So it's a new
Yeah.
regime. And if you look at it, that's what goes on. It'd be that the daughter goes in place and the father's still calling the shots.
Yeah. That
And
happens a lot.
it happens. It happens. If you
Yeah.
look at it, it happens locally, it happens in that's the way business is run. That's the way how
Yeah.
business
It
is run.
happens a lot. Let's go back
Yeah.
in here.
paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave, and then threatened as they were leaving. So in addition to Sean Combs, you should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen but made no effort to stop it,
I don't
Any
like that.
venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on but failed to stop it. Any individual or entity who knew about the conduct.
Hey, would you say about that?
I don't like that. It's opening a can of worms. You know what I'm
What do you
saying?
mean?
All right. It's like living in the hood.
Okay.
Everybody know the killers, everybody know the shooters, everybody know the drug pushers, but guess what? You know you need to get from point A to point B. You need your life to be normal. You walk
Uh-huh.
past. What up, Ray Ray? I'm good. And you
Yeah, yeah,
keep it
yeah.
moving,
Keep it
right?
pushing.
If you disrupt that, you're bringing drama to yourself. So when they say that, and I understand, when you're in certain environments, you got to move accordingly. And that environment, you can't just say, "Oh yeah, no, your life is going to be disrupted, and there's no support there. All of these people that are talking, if you don't know the cops, if you don't have any resources to support
Yeah.
you in that time,
Yeah.
all of that does not make sense. And I understand it from both sides because I can see it. I see it when you growing up and you live in the hood and you understand, and now you live in a community where there's cops, there's
Yeah.
support, there's outreach, the funding is there to facilitate people in situations like that. When we was younger, we seen bad cops. So when you
Oh,
tell
of
us go
course.
to the cops, it's like, what? No. But
Well,
that was the
I
frame of
I
mind.
I mentioned earlier, 50% of these victims all filled out police reports and all went to the hospital and nothing happened.
Right.
So, so I kind of mentioned you can tell there was somebody protecting him.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
Mm.
saying. People always try to say, "Oh, why didn't she leave? Why like Cassie?
Yeah.
Why didn't she leave?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
She
I
did leave a
understand
few
her
times and he
position.
went and brought her back.
Yeah, you talking about the a mogul. We're not
Yeah.
talking about Ray Ray and Pookie in the hood. We talking
Nah.
about a mogul.
When he
He
say
could fly a
something,
plane and come get you.
yeah.
He could
Yeah,
pull
it
up with a
becomes
chopper right on top of the
it's
house.
a corporation. Yeah.
Yeah,
When you build an empire like that, you don't really think about money. It's whatever I need, I go get it.
yeah. So it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. But
Because
I do understand. I understand the other side, so I could defend the other side too as well. The
yeah,
same way she got in the relationship, the same way she could have got out. You know,
well, the thing is, I think it's you got to really look at it like this. A lot of it's being done to these people unwillingly. Like the people didn't know they were engaging in these types of things, or
yeah.
it just happened. So it's kind of like you remember how Seinfeld ended.
Nah, that
They
was
got
good.
arrested. They got arrested and went to jail
Okay.
because I think somebody was getting robbed, and they instead of helping, they just sat there and kind of laughed. So they put that citizens
Arrest.
arrest thing on them. Yeah, because as a citizen, if somebody is in harm, you're supposed to try to
Yeah.
at least call the police or at least says, "Hey, something." They just sat there and kind of laughed. And this is kind of one of those same things where at least you could try to stop it. But like you said, when the machine is as big as the machine is, it's hard to slow it down with a little pebble.
True.
Because
True.
at
True.
that point, they're gonna just run you through like mush,
Yeah.
you know.
Definitely. Definitely.
So yeah, let's jump back in there. It looked like he's being real careful with this case too.
I
Conduct
think
and
they're putting too
benefited
much
from it.
parameters on it.
What do you mean?
I think they're casting a wide net, right? I think they could stand on the people that they have and the people that's going to come forward. We see what happened in Bill Cosby case. If they mimic that same approach, I understand why they're doing it. They want a different outcome versus what they see with Bill Cosby and Epstein, and they're trying to take down the system. But instead of taking down the system, regular people, regular everyday people like me and you are going to get hurt. And this is my quorum,
In
right?
what way?
Because if you saying, "Oh, I wanted to make $100 and they pay me to be a usher that day," You know what I'm saying? I showed up. I mind my goddamn business and I went home. They're saying and that's what he said. Anyone that seen something or was there or knows something that put a lot of people at
Okay.
risk. That put a lot of people at risk.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think
So
so for sure.
what is the game plan to destabilize everybody that got in contact with Diddy? And that's how I'm looking at it. Right?
Mhm.
I could go from one end to the other. Once you go one extreme, you got to go to the other. I know what they're trying to do, but we also got to take it back, left field, and see how does this disrupt everyone else. And so when they say it like that in a
Uh-huh.
broad, overarching way, that also pushes people away not to speak. Because if I say, "Oh, I was here and I seen this happen," is
Mhm.
either I'm with it or I'm against it.
Right.
Why put myself in that position to come forth? I'm gonna just hush my mouth and go about my way. I
Well,
don't want this the
now
backlash
that
that will come with it.
well, now that he's behind bars, the gates are open and the
And then people
waters.
still got reach, man. Those people still got
Oh yeah.
reach.
Oh
They
yeah,
still got reach.
there's still a lot that will never come out.
Yeah,
There's
that's
still many more.
like the blacklist. He was behind jail. It was blacklisted. There's another movie where the guy, the head of everything, he was in jail the whole time, calling all the shots. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, it's like when Big got unalived.
yeah,
The guy that was protecting him got a call from somebody in prison
yeah,
telling him they had a hit out on them. And like literally came from prison. He called him and he was like, "Yo, don't do this or whatever." And that
yeah.
was the same night the stuff went down with Big. So yeah, I mean, a lot of things in prison happens, man. They could call the shots, but it seemed like maybe that's why they're trying to bring that empire down.
True.
If you think about it, that's probably why they want to bring it down.
Or is or is there someone else they have their scopes on that's bigger than Diddy?
Well, here's another thing too. I think Diddy is linked to the cartel
Hmm, that's the first I
because
heard that.
I think this is how they were pushing the stuff that's possibly in the baby bottles. It's like liquid
Okay.
uh rugs.
Okay.
And I think that was something he was doing through the cartel, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, allegedly, but I think he got way more issues than me to
Yeah,
worry
I get
about.
what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think some cartels are behind this too. Now, let's
Okay.
finish.
but did nothing to report it or stop it. And any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are in fact individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm.
That's sad.
The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual mis-
When they say false imprisonment,
Mm-hmm.
how do you take that?
Cassie. Just picture Cassie.
So
Right.
he basically had her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because that
So it's
false
like,
imprisonment kind of hit a little
so
different.
So, all right, and he just stated what was that false imprisonment in some words when he said you take some beyond their will. So it's when you drug them, you have possession of that individual where you're using that person at your will. They're not no longer in capacity to control themselves. So you're basically falsely entrapping this person for your pleasure, so that's one degree of it.
Okay.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm not any of
imprisonment,
those things.
compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of minors. Given the large volume of cases and given our other docket obligations, and given the fact that we want to be sure when we file these cases that they are fully vetted, I expect we'll start filing these cases against Sean Combs and other perpetrators within the next 30 days. Now, it's rare, sexual abuse, sexual exploitation, this type of activity is pervasive in our society, and it's rare we get a chance where we can really focus on this as a country and really focus on this about how pervasive this is and what we as collectively can do about it. So I thought I'd take this opportunity before I go into some of the individual cases and talk about some of the individual claims being made and so you'll get a sense of what this 120 people group looks like individually. I want to bring forward Carrie Paul. She's a national victim advocate who helps victims who have been victimized by this type of conduct. And she has some important words, and I hope you'll pay close attention. I think it's important that you hear from her.
It's important that you hear from her.
Hello, I'm Carrie Paul with the National Victim Advocate. It's not easy for any survivor to come forward. Our culture doesn't believe survivors. It blames and questions them. Instead of showing support, many choose to enable abusers. The media runs stories asking why it took so long for survivors to come forward instead of asking what barriers exist. We also don't equip law enforcement with the ability to handle sexual assault crimes. Lack of funding translates to lack of training. We have officers in the field that don't know what to say to a rape victim, and also an alarming amount of backlogged, untested rape kits. Prosecutors are focused on what they can prove in a case, and if so, how to do that at time of trial. Advocates and staff are stretched thin with growing caseloads in the criminal justice system. Most people don't know how the criminal justice works in general. There isn't enough staff or resources to adequately explain the entire process to every victim and survivor. Our culture works against victims and survivors every day, and abusers know this. Abusers work themselves into positions of power, building a public image that is trusted and financially large enough to make people look away. Abusers are unfortunately very skilled at power and control, the foundation of abuse. They seek victims who are vulnerable, such as children, their employees, and their intimate partners, all who see a different version than the public does, all who rely on the abuser in some way. And for those that do come forward and aren't believed, face questions like, Are you sure it happened that way? Were you drinking? What were you wearing? All of this creates an environment that enables abusers to continue abusing them and future victims. To the survivors that have come forward despite not being believed at some point in time, your courage is like nothing we have seen before. We thank you for coming forward for yourself and all survivors. And lastly, I want all survivors that are watching this to know we believe you and we support you. Thank you.
I want you now to hear from my co-counsel, Andrew Van Arsdale. We've created a sexual abuse hotline, and I want him to visit with us just a few moments about how that works and the kind of volume of calls we've received.
Thank you, Tony. Like Tony said, my name is Andrew Van Arsdale. I'm the managing partner of Baby A Law Group. We have offices in California, Montana, and North Carolina. To build off of what you just so well said, it's very hard to come forward. And given what we've experienced the past 10 days is really unprecedented in my career, at least. We represent thousands of survivors of abuse. And never, ever in a 10-day period have we seen over 3,000 people come forward, or we've confirmed and decided to investigate and represent 120 people while we're continuing to work through another 100 plus cases to prove them up, to validate what had happened here, and to hold those that are responsible accountable. And so like Tony said, we've set this up. 1-800-200-7.
Yo, they set up a Diddy line. Yo, they set up a Diddy line. You know how much people that is? They almost 3,000, they said.
Mm-hmm.
They
That's
set up a
crazy.
Diddy line, bro. Like, we haven't had a hotline like that since COVID, where you could just, you know what I heard?
What's that?
I heard this may expand to the UK. It's like everywhere where he has traveled and stayed, that type of behavior went on. Wherever he had a house or villas or wherever he was staying at. So this number could go through the roof, and there's still going to be a lot of people that won't come out. A lot of people that's compromised that would never say anything because
Yeah.
they don't want other people to find out, or they wasn't supposed to be at that party, but they snuck out and went anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's a few of them. But this is insane. You got a Diddy line. They might as well call it the Diddy line.
474.
Take that.
Diddle diddle.
I have a team of people standing by literally. If you know that this happened to someone and you have information about it, please contact us. If this happened to you, come forward. There's attorney-client privilege here. What you tell us is in confidence. Yes, we'll have to go out and build your case, but we will protect you. And the other thing that I want to say is the pattern and practice of this, again, is unprecedented. Over 30 plus years of the same sort of events happening, people thrust into the circle reportedly, and horrible things happening to them as a result. And from talking to these people that have come forward these past 10 days, I can tell you unequivocally that because the federal government did what it needed to do and indicted this man, that they put him in jail and a judge kept him in jail. They tell me directly, this validates my feelings. For so long, I thought it was my fault. What is it about me that put myself in that scenario? What was I wearing at the time? What did I do to be subjected to such horrific treatment at these people that I was trying to trust? When we know now, it was not your fault. You were victimized by a group of powerful people that operated for 30 plus years, taking advantage of their wealth and the power that they held within the music industry. So again, thank you to every single person that has come forward and contacted our office over the past 10 days. If you or someone you know suffered the same sort of treatment, please contact us at the number behind me and we will help you. Thank you.
I think it speaks to how important this issue is in the United States and frankly, internationally, that we have reputable people here that want to provide kind of information that I think victims need to hear, witnesses need to hear, the public needs to hear. Let me introduce to you now Olivia Rivers from the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, and let her visit with you a few moments about these types of cases.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Q Olivia Rivers. I am just served my 6th year as the board chair for the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault. I'm also the CEO for the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, which is a local rape crisis center here in the Houston area. So thank you for being here as we address these heinous crimes. Sexual assault is not just a crime of violence against the body. It's an assault on the very essence of human dignity and safety. It shatters lives, it destroys confidence, and all too often, it leaves survivors feeling like they are voiceless, isolated, and vulnerable. The reality for many survivors is that coming forward to report their assault is one of the most difficult and daunting tasks that they will ever have to do. And for some, it may take days, months, or even years to speak up, if they ever do. The reasons for this have been mentioned, but include the fear of being disbelieved, being blamed or judged, and of course, retaliation. The trauma of the assault itself being compounded by the trauma of the criminal justice process, where survivors must relive their experience in order to seek justice. And these feelings and fears are further exacerbated when the allegations are against prominent figures in the entertainment industry or Hollywood. Cases involving powerful figures often attract significant media attention, which can deter victims from coming forward due to fear of public exposure or scrutiny. The intense focus on these high-profile cases can make survivors feel that their personal lives are being put under a microscope, causing further emotional distress. These allegations mentioned here today, as reported, reflect deeply troubling claims that deserve thorough investigation, and no individual, regardless of their stature, is above the law or public accountability. Sadly, the statistics paint a very disturbing picture. According to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men will experience some form of sexual violence in their lifetime. In the US alone, there are approximately 463,000 victims of rape or sexual assault every year, and these numbers barely scratch the surface, as sexual violence remains one of the most underreported crimes. But the numbers that follow tell an even more troubling story. Only about 23% of sexual assaults are reported to law enforcement. Of those, just 5% lead to an arrest, and even fewer, less than 1% of reported cases ever result in a conviction, which is a devastating gap between the crime and the justice that survivors deserve. I want to briefly focus on our state here in Texas. According to the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, 6.3 million Texans, men and women, will experience some form of violence. That's every 2 minutes someone is sexually assaulted, meaning during the course of this press conference, around 60 individuals will forever be changed by this violence.
You're muted.
Oh, that sounds kind of disturbing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like she literally broke it down to how many happened since she's been standing at that podium.
Yeah.
Now,
Crazy.
how real you think those numbers are? Do you think those are actually like
American
as a
state.
nation, we're heading in the wrong direction?
Well, the stats, first thing the stats got to do is a sample size, and it's they based it on a pool of reports, and it's statistics, and but I ain't gonna get into that. That's not what we're here for. But they're basing it on a sample size, and they think. But the
Yeah.
question would be is, are they I didn't hear, and I could be misconstrued too, is are they talking about the U.S. or the world? And when they
No,
give
she said Texas.
Texas, well,
Yeah.
that's where she's from.
Right,
But
right.
that
She only said for Texas.
we got to pull it up. Well, I could go back and check and see. But
Yeah, I could bring it back. How far back you want me to go?
let's review the stats.
Right there. Let me see.
6.3 million Texans, men and women, will experience some form of
Right,
violence.
right
Let's
there.
focus on our state here in Texas.
Right.
According to the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, 6.3 million Texans, men and women, will experience some form of violence. That's every 2 minutes someone is sexually assaulted.
All right. So
Meaning,
that's based
during
on
the course
Texas.
of this
Yep.
Right. It's all
That's based on Texas. Yeah. All right. That's what I wanted to know. What are they basing it on? So you could imagine that's only the sample pool for Texas. And Texas is big. Texas is, you could hold a couple states inside of Texas.
Texas is massive.
Yeah. So when you try to compare it to like a Connecticut, it's like, that's why it's not like you can't fathom it, because it's probably like how much? Like 20, 30, 40.
Yeah.
Probably even more, 70.
Yeah, but they're packing a lot of criminals up in there.
Oh, we forgot the caveat. It's crossing the border. And this is a question. Does this have a lot to do with the migrants coming over into Texas? Texas border with most of those Mexico. So are some of those
I don't
crimes?
think so.
Huh?
Well, I guess we'll have to figure out where the statistics stand as far as
Right.
nationality and stuff like that, because they do have the reports.
They said Texans, right? But Texas has I don't know, guys. I'm just speaking based on geography, right? I don't want nobody coming for me, right? So I'm not fully informed. Let me make my clarification. But Texas border Mexico, a lot of these crimes, Texans or they're immigrants, because Texans has an influx or there's a lot of immigrants coming in. Right. Yeah. So are all these crimes being committed by Texans
they
only?
didn't specify.
Or and that's my point. Is there an overarching factor of people that don't understand the law coming in committing some of these crimes? So that number may drop based on, because it wasn't clarified. She said Texans. So that's the that's the people, but are the people who are committing the crimes, they don't necessarily need to be Texans,
right? Yeah,
and that's what I'm trying to get at,
Yeah.
Press conference, around 60 individuals will forever be changed by this violence, and those are just a few of the victims. Obviously, this is unacceptable. We cannot allow this cycle of silence and inaction to continue. We have to create an environment where survivors feel empowered to come forward, where they are met with empathy and respect and support, not skepticism and blame. We have to ensure that our legal system is equipped to handle these cases with the seriousness they deserve, and that survivors have access to the resources that they need beyond the legal courtroom. We have to address the root causes of this epidemic: prevention, awareness, and fostering environments where respect, consent, and safety are non-negotiable values. Additionally, support for survivors has to be holistic. They have to have access to counseling, medical services, legal advocacy, and of course, community support, regardless of whether they choose to report or not. To every survivor who has come forward, your bravery is an inspiration. To those who are still grappling with their decision, know that you are not alone and that your voice matters. Your story matters. We see you, we believe you, and we are committed to fighting for a future where sexual violence is no longer tolerated, and where decision, know that you are not alone and that your voice matters. Your story matters. We see you, we believe you, and we are committed to fighting for a future where sexual violence is no longer tolerated and where justice is not the exception, but the standard. Thank you.
Well said. Well said. She articulated
I want to
herself
visit
very
with you
well.
real quickly before we close here about some specific instances without disclosing the victim's name.
But before he get into this, like, you think about what she was just talking about, right?
Yeah.
And you she was talking about how the rape stuff happened. Grape stuff happens and things like that. And then she basically stated how bad it was just in Texas, right? Now compare that to Diddy. And Diddy was probably the one that's making that number move that brought it down to the, what is it, 2 minutes? When Diddy is in town, those numbers are gonna go really, really low.
Damn.
Like they set up a hotline. Do you know how many victims to he said I got a crew waiting.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Why Texas? Why was the
I'm not even sure.
you trying to say?
There's-
It's starting to click.
it's right. There's something to do with
Why
the,
did it come out of Texas?
yeah, I'm not sure why either. It's something I wanted to look into, but yeah, there's a strange reason why it's filed in Texas because I don't think any crime was committed in Texas.
Right, and so
It was
that's my
basically
whole thing.
it was Los Angeles, New York,
In New York, yeah.
Miami, and Georgia. Those
Is
are
there
the
a stature there or something?
there's
Or he,
something, yeah.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
some kind of stature or something that gives them the ability.
Yeah, there's something there. There's definitely something there. Because yeah, and I thought about the same thing, but I didn't really look into it yet. See what you could find on that. I'm gonna pull this back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready to go.
You probably know that depending on the age of the victim, you can file these cases, these individual cases, under Jane Doe or John Doe. Each state is different in that respect. Typically, there is a balancing test, like the public's right to know the name of the victim and plaintiff versus the confidentiality and the safety of the plaintiff. So we'll have to struggle with that with each one of these cases. Our intention, of course, is to, like we always do, file these cases under a pseudonym until the court tells us otherwise. But let me share with you a few, just kind of give you a sense of the kind of cases and the kind of instances that people are calling and reporting that we are trying to corroborate, vet, and these are the ones that we've already corroborated, vetted, and collected evidence on. One individual who was 22 years at the time she was assaulted said that the typical MO at one of these parties that have been widely discussed in the press was that when you were handed a drink, and now we know that the drink is laced with something, if you refused to drink it, you were kicked out of the party. Now, let that sink in for a minute. I mean, the admission to this party was that you had to drink.
So that being said, right? What are the chances of you drinking what they offered you to drink? You muted.
None.
Isn't this your out right here? This is your out, right? When they say if you don't drink this, you ain't
Exactly.
getting in. That's your out, right?
Peace.
So at that point, what makes you still take this drink?
You
And-
leave.
Right. So can you say maybe they kind of understand what's going on? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think it's I understand some of it has to do with pure pressure, but there's a video out there circulating
That's a lot of
where
peer pressure, bro.
exactly it said I should have had it queued up, but there's a video of somebody that went to the Diddy party.
Okay.
And what he was saying was he was there, he was hanging out chilling, and he said, yo, when he got the drink, it's like, yo, something ain't right. It's like, yo, we gotta leave. And he said there was like I don't want to sugarcoat it, but he was saying it's like there was like kind of following him around. He said he just hit the door and he said, yo, he made it to the car. Because he said, if not, he said they would have been having fun with him. You know what I'm saying? But
Yo.
this was months ago before most of this went down, you know? But he
Yeah.
said, yo, something was in whatever he drank. You know what I'm saying? So that's not the MO to tell you anyway.
No, they ain't gonna tell you.
Exactly. So
Everything is laced. The champagne, the orange juice, all of it is laced.
man, that's
And
why.
Gene D, he been talking about that stuff for a while, and talking about, because he's witnessed some of it, and he said they used to spike all that stuff.
And that's the whole thing, man. That's why, oh man. And you see why some of these people go crazy, man. Yeah.
And that's the thing, like some people don't even know it's coming. Well, nobody know it's coming.
So could you fault some of these females for going buck wild and trying to
Well, they
clap?
don't go buck wild. Then most of them don't even remember nothing.
Right. But what about the ones?
There's some of them that's involved. You know what I'm saying? They may be co-conspirators. Because
Yeah,
there's some women involved too.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like,
It opened my eyes to a lot of stuff.
listen, don't be surprised if some of the worst names come out of this, like some big names.
Yeah.
Big names. I'm talking, if you sitting here and think you have a favorite celebrity down there
Right.
in the box office,
Trust me. You know what I was thinking about this morning?
what's that?
Yeah. So after watching this video, here we go, right? You know, one of my songs from Diddy used to be like, hello, good morning. When I sang that shit this morning, I was like, damn, they done tore her ass up. Hello.
Oh, that's
Good
what I'm saying, man. A few of those songs don't
Yo,
hit the same no more. Like, I was sitting there
yeah.
yesterday and that Usher came on and I was like, I just wanna take it nice. And what is he singing about? You know what I'm saying? Because this was that transition when he was living with Diddy and he went through that voice change and yeah. So a lot of that stuff don't hit the same no more, man. Where you just be like, what?
Yeah, it don't.
And that's the same way I feel about Drake's music. But that's for another story. It don't hit the same.
Man.
Let's finish this up, man.
Yep.
This is
I think the chosen
Oh,
drink
hip hop.
that was handed to you, and now we
What's
It
that?
didn't say any clear reason for why the case was
Done in
any
Texas.
it wasn't no specific
Is there
reason.
special law in Texas?
No, so that's what I was going to clarify. It's just because that lawyer is from Texas, and that's what I'm assuming. It's not.
So they wanted that specific lawyer.
Yeah. So
Okay,
I think that's what it was. Him. I think he's probably spearheading. I don't know. I'm just making that. I'm alleging.
Okay, that's a good assumption to make. If I had to
it's
make
based
one.
on him because he's the attorney that's kind of bringing the suit forward, and he's
Right.
That's why it was presented in Texas. Them Texas boy got to do everything big, So
he gonna put a ripple in this shit.
Texas money different. They money different out there.
Yeah.
They
got all oil money.
All money, new money we ain't never seen.
Yeah, let's do it. Did I bring it back? Yeah, let's do it.
know that in most cases, I would say 90% of the cases, these individuals were drugged with some sort of drug. That was kind of the MO. Another instance, this individual who was 9 years old at the time was taken to a audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. Other boys were there to audition as well. All of them were trying to land a record deal. All of them were minors. This individual was sexually abused, allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio.
Allegedly.
In the promise to both his parents and to him himself of getting a record deal. Another instance, another minor.
I'm going to say it again, parents. Do not leave your kids alone at these agencies. Don't trust these people. I did modeling, so I used to be around, but I was much older. But I didn't stay in. I only did it for like 3 years. But you can see where things can happen at those events, and it will happen right in the open.
Told allegedly by Sean Combs that he would make him a star, but he needed to visit with him in private about it, away from his parents. Once they were in a private area, allegedly Mr. Combs made the victim perform oral sex upon him. Another incident, an individual 15 years old at the time, flown to New York City to attend a party, was drugged and then taken into a private room, allegedly in the presence of Mr. Combs, where this female individual, minor, was raped, and then other individuals took turns raping her. Another individual, 26 at the time of the occurrence, was picked up allegedly by Mr. Combs and several other people in a black SUV from the airport, was given one drink in the SUV, and then literally woke up the next day not knowing what had happened, but with pain and damage to both her vagina and her anus, where she then went to the hospital. She was missing her underwear and her shoes.
Yeah.
Another instance, the individual, this time not a minor, attended a group dinner, allegedly with Sean Combs in Miami. She wasn't drinking because she was pregnant, but whatever she drank at the table, apparently, at least according to her, was laced with something. She blacked out, and she woke up in the same bed, again, allegedly, with Mr. Combs in his mansion in Miami.
Good morning.
Her vagina and her anus were torn and sore. And I could go on. I mean, literally, you're sensing a theme here. It's the same theme.
The drug.
And it all involves
The drug.
some sort of drug. One instance, an individual who was 20 years old at the time was asked to attend, just saw her on the street, asked to attend a party in a hotel. She was flattered, went to the party, was given one drink and doesn't remember anything else. Ultimately, was so messed up, went to the hospital where they found cocaine and this horse tranquilizer in her blood system. I want to give you a quote
That ketamine.
from a very young man who told us over the phone about his experience and all the things that happened to him. He says allegedly at the hands of Sean Diddy Combs and his friends in the effort to try to sign a record deal. This was kind of what he was told he would have to do. His quote is, "Had he not been in power, I feel like I could have been something great. I quit the industry because of what Sean Combs did to me." And that's really what it comes down to. We are pursuing this, asking you to support this effort, to encourage witnesses and victims to come forward and bring your evidence so we can continue to break down this wall of silence and we can continue to have these stories heard. This is the beginning of what I hope to be a national dialogue. This type of sexual assault, sexual abuse, and sexual exploitation should never happen in the United States or anywhere else. This should have never been allowed to go on for so long. This conduct has created a mass of individuals who are injured, scared, and scarred. If you are one of those individuals, we ask you to reach out. If not to us, to someone you trust. If you are someone who witnessed any of these events, we ask you to reach out. Your name can remain confidential. With that, I'll take a few questions, not many, maybe two, but if you have a question, I'll be pleased to try to answer it.
Tough questions.
Perfect.
many minors are making accusations in total, and are the feds aware of the allegations of minors in the case?
I don't know what the feds are aware of, okay, but I do know it's 25 out of this 120. But I will say this to that point. We welcome the FBI or any authority who wants to come to us, and we're going to make that available to these victims because I think that's important. My suspicion is, based on talking with these folks, is that the FBI is just not aware of these people. The FBI has talked to some of these folks, and I'm going to try to encourage the victims to, in fact, talk to the FBI because I think they have some very important things to say. Yes.
Were all of the children auditioning because they were musicians, or were any of them kids of employees or anything like that?
All seeking either TV or some sort of music career with promises of, we're going to make you a star. Instead, basically did things to them such that they don't want to have anything to do with the entertainment industry ever again. All right, guys. Thank you very
Man,
As he said that, what came to mind is, so if you start to get into like police affairs and how stuff or the government work and things like that, the FBI could do certain stuff. And I think this is in conjunction to what the FBI is doing.
well, this
Because
isn't FBI. This is Homeland Security.
I know, and that's what I'm trying to say. Are they doing a collaborative?
Oh, I'm sure they are. I'm sure
Right.
the
Because-
government's gonna take him down.
Yeah, because this seems too coordinated, and that's what I'm looking at. Because the FBI have the resource to investigate anyone they want, but they
course.
need it to be. They need certain things in place to indict certain people. I think this is a strategy. And it looked like it's panning out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it took a long time for them to gather all this stuff.
Yeah,
From what they say, they've been tracking him for years now.
yeah,
So you look at when they raided his home, right? They did it simultaneously
yeah.
on
I heard
different
it.
posts. But if you do stuff like that, that means it's coordinated,
Yeah,
So, and I think they hit his house in New York too, which they don't talk about. But some of the houses they didn't hit. Why is that?
I'm not too sure. I don't even
There's
know
one
this.
in Florida too.
Okay.
Apparently, he has a house that the family lives in, and then a
Okay.
house just for parties.
Well, I think it probably based on where some of the allegations were made, right? So, if most of the allegation came in like, oh, it happened here or it happened here, that's probably the ones they strike versus striking a family home where nothing may have occurred. But even in such cases, you see when people do like heinous crimes, they're going after everything. They want to know everything about you.
Why not?
Yeah.
If you do something dumb enough to get the feds on you, and we talking all the feds,
Yep.
from the Homeland to the FBI. They always said he was a FBI informant at one point.
Who that?
Diddy.
Okay.
Yeah, because he used to go down to Washington to meet with different agents. They say could have been an informant, but
Probably politics. Probably.
yeah, I could see some Wire stuff. I remember the show The Wire.
Yeah.
That's that.
I didn't watch it as much, but yeah.
Man, still one of the best shows of all time.
Yeah.
But those are some very disturbing allegations, man.
Right.
Those descriptions he gave us at the end about some of the stories of what happened is just,
Yeah.
9 years old, 14 years old, 15. And then you think about who are the other people that joined in on that? You know what I'm saying? Those is what I want to see. Who are these people that's joining in? You
Hey,
know,
the people who they align themselves with. You start going back and look and see who was there.
who's there?
Who was there? Who was there? Who was hanging out, you know?
Man, they got, and you know what's the crazy thing is? Like I think it was Little Rod. He had a lawsuit against Diddy as well that he put out. That's the one where he named Cuba in that lawsuit.
Wow.
And he stated that Diddy always wanted to record stuff, so he had him record a lot of stuff on his phone and using his phone. So he's got hours and hours of stuff saved, you know. And yeah, it's all the evidence is there. Like he wasn't hiding any of it, you know. I guess he got so big that he thought he could do this forever. Because like they said, 50% of these 120 had already had police reports and rape kits done. So basically all they did was went to the hospital and then they found all the files. Once they, and that's why these are concrete ones. So think about that. 50% of them went to the police and nothing happened. So the question is, who do you think is protecting him? Because if you got police in Miami, you got police in New York and LA and Atlanta, 4 big cities covering stuff up. And then if we talk in Europe, you know, I'm pretty sure he did some Fugazi stuff there too. And his son had one also in the Caribbean. St. Bart's or one of those places over there. He raped somebody on a yacht that his father rented. Kids, they're all out of control.
Yeah, they got away with it so long, man. Trust me, man. And that's the thing. Yo, well, I can't say how do you live with yourself if you've been getting away with it.
Of course, like to
The
them,
lifestyle.
it's nothing.
Yeah,
This is
lifestyle.
just another drop in the pond or the whatever you want to say. Like to them, it's you know. From what I've been hearing, that he got new lawyers.
Ooh, Puff.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think that lawyer you got there, he's gonna phase out.
Yeah. Let me tell you, we're living in different times, man, and the law isn't clear on certain things. And
What do you mean it isn't clear on certain things? Like
the
what?
law is ambiguous. Ambiguous. If the Supreme Court could change certain things to suit when it needs, if the court could change thing at will, it's the law is ambiguous. What if me and you could do the same crime and you could get off just because one thing was different in your case, and we could
Just
talk
say,
something slight.
nigga, you black and I'm white. I'm gonna get off.
You know, so it could be ambiguous, and that's why you see a lot of people, they don't even go through with it because that's where it comes down to the 1%. You remember that lady gave the stats, right? Because
Those are some
it's
scary
always a
stats.
technicality. It's always a technicality to throw something off. It's always a technicality. Someone probably might be. It's like this. Like it's. I don't even want to go into hypothetical because these are real people. So it's best not to even do any hypotheticals. But the law is ambiguous. It's ambiguous, and we just
All
leave
right.
it there.
Well, it sucks for sure, but it is what it is.
Hello.
Now we're gonna wrap it up here, cut it up here. We're gonna be coming back with plenty more of this because it's just getting started. And do you think he start naming names?
He don't have to. He don't have to. These people that are coming forward, right? These people that are coming forward are going to tell who was there.
They already have.
Right. And this is what they're doing is they're mapping it out. That's why they're not saying any
So here's
names.
my other question: do you think any of these get settled and don't go to trial? Because think
No.
about it. Just say Diddy and 3 other people that's big in Hollywood were involved, and those 3 people contacted their salient and they agreed on a deal. Do you think the lawyer allow that, or everyone gets exposed, like Cat Williams said?
The
And
Me
how would
Too
you, and
movement,
how would you feel if some of these people paid off the people that accepted it and you never find out?
the Me Too movement have changed how cases are like Bill Cosby.
Hmm.
And that's a template. How they handle the Bill Cosby case is how they're handling the Puffy case and the missteps, and that's why they're doing certain things. That's my assumption, and I'm not a lawyer. I'm not none of this. I'm just I think they're
What do you
basing it
mean
on.
misstep?
bi- Look, what was his consequences? He
Who
went to
did he?
jail. Yeah, Bill Cosby went to jail.
Yeah,
But what happened to him? Really, what happened to him? Was justice served by him going to jail?
no.
It just became a news cycle.
But you know the thing is though, if victims had spoke out earlier and they had found out, he would have went to jail a long time ago. But the fact that no one ever came forward really and spoke,
No
the stat,
timing,
this,
timing, timing.
yeah, the statute of
The-
limitation ran out on a lot of these.
right,
But
but that's what he was
what
saying.
happened
Go
after
ahead.
that is what was able to get him, because some of these laws was created just last year and the
Exactly,
year before.
exactly. And so
So
that's what I'm saying, timing. Because
yeah.
if Me Too didn't happen, right,
Mhm.
Bill Cosby would have been free.
So
Epstein
here's another
alive,
here's another question I have too, because I was listening earlier when how long did they say this was going on since 91? What is that? 25 years?
94, something like that.
31
Yeah,
years, something like that?
30. Yeah,
Okay,
crazy.
so he goes, it's been going on for 31 years. My question to you is, don't you think it's been going on before that? He just
Yeah,
came in, he came in and either continued it or took over from someone else?
and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I agree. That's how I'm looking at it. This was ways of the past. These are some of the things that they were doing and the parties. You know what I'm saying?
And
If you look at it, the MO is the same thing with the Cosby. It's the
yeah.
same MO. Only thing I can say is we can't clarify with the sex trafficking, the drugs, well, the sex trafficking and all that. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
it's that same, it's similar, but not to that extent. You know what I'm saying? Not
Yeah.
to that extent. Um, I'd say
So
I hold Bill Cosby in a different light.
man, I haven't watched an episode of the Cosby Show since that stuff went down.
Yeah, but people
I'll
was
be
getting that
honest.
while that was going on too.
Huh?
A lot of people like a lot of you remember they used to have comedians talking about that all the time before when they used to have comedy jam. The dudes used to be talking about Bill Cosby, and you know what I'm saying? That
Doing
was a
what?
joke. Everybody laughed. Go back and look at Comedy Jam. We used to watch that on BET. We
Yeah.
used to laugh at that junk. Ha ha ha. Nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? Nothing happened. Then at a certain time, then Me Too came in. Then everybody came out. Then Me Too overdid it. You know what I'm saying?
I never really heard people talk about Bill Cosby before that
Nah,
stuff
you got
came
to
out.
look at it because that was the whole thing. It wasn't buzz. It wasn't
Because from what they said, Hollywood protected him.
exactly. I don't know, but I'm just
Just so
saying exactly because they got to defend their own. Because
I,
guess what?
we always kind of knew something was up with him. He was just too goddamn squeaky clean.
Well, is that squeaky clean don't mean something, mean anything.
Nah,
Squeaky clean don't mean anything. Squeaky clean don't mean anything, man. is the allegation that's brought forth. And you look at it. Bill Cosby is like this. I was advocating. I'm like, yo, nah. Until it was like, damn. Then the ladies started coming out. Then I'm like, damn, Bill. Damn.
I remember I was at work one time and that shit came out. Motherfucker was like, man, Bill ain't do it. I was like, yo, it's more than it was at 10. And I was like, yo, he did it. And then the
Yeah.
next day, like another 15 came out. And it was like,
Like,
then that shit hit like 80. And I was like, how you feel about it? Now he goes, I don't know, man. Ain't looking too good for Bill.
yo, it's this what I'm saying, man. It's like the average person in jail right now over one or even half of something they ain't even touch. He
Yo,
probably came around the corner and probably seen a chick naked and in jail for something he ain't even touch. These
Yo.
dudes racking up hundreds.
And it's insane the amount of guilt he's been able to get away with. But I think his time is finally up.
Yeah.
It's done. There's no way he makes it out of this because even if he beat the federal case,
All right. So when you say that, clarify. What do you mean make it out of this? Because that's a lot of ambiguous statements. What do you mean make it out of this?
he ain't getting out of prison. Unless he get pardoned or some shit, he ain't getting out of prison, bro.
That you trust me. I think they're gonna make an example out of Puff Daddy, but that man still walks. I don't know why I'm saying this. I don't know anything. I ain't Cat Williams. I think because it's like this.
Mm-hmm.
There are gonna be some names like on the Epstein list. Why they didn't release the Epstein list? They
Because
did in a certain thing, but you
because
remember they had
he got unalive, so everything died with him. They just kept it like that. But
right. But
with this
why?
one, but here's the thing, and I think that lawyer needs to have protection. The one in Texas.
I get you going, and that's kind of my same thing is
Because it's
there's some
gonna
people.
be yes.
Yep, there are gonna be some people that they came in. Yo, trust me. Some of these people didn't speak because they knew there was some influential names in them
Of course.
rooms,
Of
and
course.
they know they got beat out or whatever by some people that they don't want mentioned. You know what I'm saying?
Now there's possibility that some of these people will not get mentioned because the victims probably never knew who their name is. Like say
True,
a
true.
state rep or a congressman, they may not know who he is because he's from out of state. But if they see a famous person, they could say, "Oh, they was there with it," and they, you know what I'm saying. So those people will get exposed.
Let me tell you
But
something
with
with
the feds
victims.
tapes, they
Let me
got
tell you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
evidence. What's that?
I was gonna say with victims remember face.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
it could be they wake up and they tell you, hey, that's that person. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I believe that.
You
But
know,
what I'm
but
saying
in
is,
case of
plus they got a lot of video to match up to anyway.
yeah. But if you drug, it's harder because now you blaming yourself, and that's what a lot of these people were drugged. You
Well,
know,
think about this. The one girl that got picked up at the airport and they gave her something to drink in the car and then she woke up the next day. So if she got done by a state rep or something, she won't remember it.
yeah,
Because one of the rugs that's mixed in with the stuff, it's roofies. It's a form of roofie. So there's memory loss when that happens. So you don't remember anything as well. So
oh,
the thing is with a lot of these people is they remember going to the party and then they remember waking up with severe pain on both ends. And it's the same MO. And this is what I think the government is hitting them on: the rugs charges, the rugs and the trafficking. Those are going to be the two biggest things. And look at all the victims that this lawyer presented in this case right now, the 120. I think he may file them in bunches too, because there's still plenty more to come that they're working through. And as once they get the numbers figured out, they're going to put the case together. But Ruggs is going to be the main focus, and it's like he's running it as well as, and then the fact that he uses it to control people, he's rugging everybody to control them. He's become a predator. That's beyond predator. And then you think about, was he doing it for other people as well so they can have a good time? What do they call that? Embedding?
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Because that's some sick stuff. And you think about it too, like a lot of these people probably would do it if he asked.
Yeah. When you're a celebrity, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but like they said in the suit, he gives them so they can stay compliant. But they control them, and whatever they want to do, they do it.
Oh man, I can't take too much more of this, man.
But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up there. So diddly diddly diddly, we out. See y'all in the next one.